Hello, welcome to the 8th year of Croatia's first cider apple orchard. The great experiment is just about over. These apple trees are now 8-9 years old, and things are a little bit different this year because we've actually got our first cider. Yes, last year we managed to make about 60-70 litres of cider. That was in September, October. It's now June and it's still fermenting, so we haven't had a chance to try it yet. So we're starting here as usual with this Boxwood Foxwhelp. No apples on it at all this year. Although the Boxwood Foxwhelps have no apples this year, the Kingston Black has a really good. I've only got 2 or 3 Kingston Black trees, but they've all got a good load of apples on. I'll have to thin these out, but it always breaks my heart to thin these out because later on I'll lose a lot of apples to insects and storms and things like that, and it makes me wish I hadn't taken so many off, but it really needs doing. This experiment really has been to see what type of apples, English cider apples, will survive and thrive here in Croatia. Now this is a Dabinet, and every single one of my Dabinets always look a little tired and sickly, and the leaves a little bit yellow, with very few apples on it. To say it's such a popular apple and almost necessary for cider, it's not done very well here at all. So we will be taking this off the list of possible candidates for our cider. This is a healthy Somerset red streak with quite a lot of apples on this year. Like I said, they're 8-year-old now, and they are getting better crops and more reliable crops. This tree's had apples on every year for the last 5 years at least, and carrying more each year. So a good candidate for cider. Well, this tree is Michelin. I planted, this is a lot later than the original trees. Like I say, most trees are about 8-year-old. This one's about 4 or 5 years old, and it's carrying a lot of apples on it. I've actually grafted a few more of them. We've got now maybe 10 Michelins, and they're all doing really well, and they seem pretty much disease resistant. So another good candidate. One variety that seems to be doing well is the variety Bret, and because of that I'm putting them on every tree I can at the moment now. They give me no problem whatsoever. Lots of apples from a very young age, and they seem to be quite disease resistant as well. I have a couple of Crimson Kings here, and they're always producing well. There's a lot of apples from them last year, and again we've got quite a decent crop. Not magnificent, but it's a good producer and has been for the last 3 or 4 years. So Crimson King, okay. The Arlington mill, which suffered a lot of damage last year from fire blight, and it's recovering well. It looks a lot healthier. It's got apples on. I'll take most of them off, of course, but it is recovering. Now the thing with Arlington mill, he seems to be very susceptible to fire blight, and I'm glad now that I never planted them all in a row. They're all scattered about. This one's okay for this year, but I'm sure we'll find fire blight this year. I'm sure of it. Well, I said we'd find fire blight, and here we have. 3 days ago, this Arlington mill showed no signs of fire blight whatsoever, and as you can see, it's an absolute mess, and this is something that needs to be dealt with straight away. So today I'll be cutting all this off and burning it. There's nothing else to do. Hopefully it'll recover. It's a strong tree. It's 6 or 7 years old, and it's got good top growth, so we'll see how it goes. Another Arlington mill, same problem. So really, I don't think they're suitable for Croatian climate. Simple as that. As I was saying about the Bret, they do seem to do very well. This is only 3 years old, and it's got apples on. It's nice and sturdy, and it looks very, very healthy. Little bit of green fly, but nothing else. Here we have a Dabinet. I have some Dabinets that were brought from England, and they were rather poor. They haven't done much, and this is just following on in the same way. It looks unhealthy. It looks very unhealthy. Very few apples.